All right, it's about time on ABT Lockdown Live that we talked about barra fishing. And as it happens, it looks like the Barra Tour and indeed all the barra events are the only ones that aren't going to be affected by the COVID crisis. I have got Troy Dixon here from L. Wilson and Company. And Dicko, mate, you are sequestered away there in Wilson's showroom, covered with as much barra porn as possible in the tackle department, aren't you, mate? What's life like at Wilson's?
There's a fair bit on the wall behind me, that's for sure. So,
Mate, it's one of those deals where if I turned the camera the other way, it'd be a total disaster. But because it's looking this way, it's looking mint, isn't it?
yes, it is, mate. There's a bit of crap over there. It's all it's a pretty good looking wall behind us anyway, and it's a growing wall, which is even better. So,
but you guys have been the naming sponsors of the Barra Tour for a few years now. You're the current Barra Australian Open champion, you and Adam from the Tackle Warehouse there. We're going to talk about that in a little while. Yep. I want you to give the viewers of the show a bit of a rundown on what's happened in the tackle industry. It's been a bit of an up and down ride for the guys, but we're on a bit of an upswing at the moment, aren't we?
Yes, we certainly like it's that at the start of this pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It was a very scary time for the fishing industry, but now, mate, it's everyone seems to be going fishing. It's really positive. I think there's a lot of people that have that didn't go fishing as much. Have now taken on fishing and actually taken it on as a passion. And I think it's got a lot to do with kids not going to sport and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully quite a few of those guys continue to love the passion of fishing like we all do. So.
No, it's been good, mate, and it's been the same in the boating industry as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the boat dealers have said a lot of people are first-time boaters, people getting back into boating. It's on a real upswing. So for all the people that are watching tonight that are new to fishing, hey, ABT, we're welcoming you and we'd love you to stay in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've had multiple conversations with store owners of shops, and the amount of new customers that they've had over this time has been unbelievable. So, I mean, it's, the fishing industry, I think, might come out of this quite good compared to a lot of other things that have suffered, like hospitality and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully it's for us. So.
Yeah, and look, it's very rare where you'd say you'd rather own a tackle shop than a pub, but right now might be that time.
Yeah, I think, there's some still doing it tough, mate, don't get me wrong, but there's some doing it, they've come through this pretty good, so.
Nah, that's awesome, mate. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Barra events happening. We've always scheduled them towards the end of the year, and we take advantage of the 3 spring-ish full moons. And so the Barra Tour this year is the Zerek BARRA Tour, of course. It consists of 6 events this year, and it's more than we've ever had before. And I think that reflects this upswing in the interest in barra fishing. It's the Barra Tour seems to get the anglers get better, and it's more fun, and it's just a great time every year.
Well, it's addictive.
You can't imagine yourself not going on it now, can you?
No, I really can't. Like, I hope I get to continue to do that trip every year, because like I said, you get to meet some really good people, and it's a very, very fast learning curve when you go on the Barra Tour, because you're fishing with some of the best fishers in Australia. So and most of them, some of them a bit, they don't tell you much, but most of them are quite free with their information and, tell you how they do it and where they go. And most of them, you can see them most of the time anyway. So
yeah. No secrets there, mate. And we've expanded our range this year with the Barra Tour a little bit. We're going back to Tinaroo, and we haven't been to Tinaroo for well over 10 years, but it's really coming back as a really productive barra lake. So that's the opening of our season. We're on that end of September, beginning of October full moon up there, and it's we've talked to the local guys, we've got the session times right, and it looks like it's going to be a real cracker of an event. It's a long way to go for a lot of people up to Cairns, but I think the fishing is going to be well worth it. The way the Barra Tour is structured this year is you don't have to fish every single event to win the Angler of the Year, or the Team of the Year, but you can't do it in just the Barra Tour anymore. You have to either go to the Australian Open or maybe go to the Cairns Tinaroo event if you really want to win that overall trophy, which a lot of guys want to win. And I know that we have guys like Dylan Brian Mills and Ben Tunstead. They come down and they fish the tour. They are itching at the bit to get all of us up there to show us how good the fishing in their backyard is.
Those boys are guns up on that dam up there in Cairns. So it'll be an interesting competition, that one. And unfortunately, I won't be able to get to that one, but that's the way it goes. But we'll be definitely doing the rest of the tour. So. Yeah,
no, it's awesome, mate. So we're opening up in that event up in Cairns. From there, the next full moon, which is at the end of September, beginning of October. Don't know the exact dates. It's the great full moon, and it's about 3 or 4 weeks later than we ran it this year. So when we hit a wonga, what hindered us a little bit last year was a bit of a cold snap, made it a bit tough. Did make it tough for you, but because you did better than anyone else. But bringing it into line with that early October full moon where a wonga barra just go nuts. I'm really looking forward to that event because there should be plenty of 90 centimetre plus fish coming through now.
Yeah, I've done a few trips up to a wonga after the Australian Open last year, and it's an unbelievable fishery. Like being so close to Brisbane, like you can be there in 6 hours. 5.5, 6 hours, and mate, the fish that are available there is just crazy. So, mate, it's a good place. It's nice big. You're not on everyone's. You're not next door to everybody. You can a little place and get away from everyone else. And mate, it's got some unreal fish in it. And I reckon we'll see some good meateries. I reckon this year. So. Yeah.
So what do you reckon if you rocked up this year with the bag weight you caught last year? If you rocked up there with that this year, where do you reckon you'd come?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Just one of the guys in the middle.
But it's fishing, Steve. It's fishing. So anyone that's got a lure in the water that's at the right time can catch five barra. So
it seems they're like that in there too. If you get a patch of fish going for 15 minutes, it can be mayhem, can't it?
That's what it was like for us last year. We worked out that if we didn't have our lures in the water at this particular time, we caught nothing. So most of our fish come in a spurt of, say, an hour every day.
Yep.
And we sat in the same spot for 3 days. So
now, anyone that's watching and thinking, oh, look, I might want to give a barra event a shot. I think the Australian Open's a really good one. You don't have to commit to a whole tour. If you're in Brisbane, it's the closest one to Brisbane. I think it's $500 entry for a team, so it's not absolute top dollar. It's not low dollar, but the prize money gets paid back at 100%. So the prize money is really, really good, and you get to fish with your mate.
3 days, so it's pretty good.
And you get to fit. And the thing with barra, like with the Brim and the Bass tournaments, we run the boater non-boater thing. With the barra tournaments, you can fish with your mate, so you can plan to go with your mate, stay with your mate, fish with your mate. Give your mate the dead arm when he doesn't net your fish properly and it jumps off. It's a real team deal, isn't it?
And mate, we've got some really good accommodation there too, like the caravan park right at the dam. There's a couple of other places down the road, so you can camp with each other. Like last year when we were there, we had a good group of guys there. We all communicated every night when we got off the water. It was and then during the day before the comp, because we weren't starting our sessions till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're getting to have a good chat with everyone. It was really good. Just especially having, a big group of guys together like that. So
that's awesome, mate. And that leads me on to the jewel in the crown, which is of course the Zerek BARRA Tour. We've got our formula now where we do an evening event at Lake Kinchant, which can sometimes be tough, but when it goes off, it just goes off like a frog in a sock, and you're watching barra jump all over the joint.
Yeah. It's a cool place, nice little dam.
Good for a one night. I wouldn't want to fish a 5-day test match on there, but good for a one nighter.
No, but it's that's one spot where you actually get to fish next to people, and you get to watch people's techniques and things like that. So you do learn a lot on that dam for sure, I reckon. Anyway.
And your sledging game's got to be up to point, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I got I don't sledge too much, but there's a fair bit of sledging comes out of quite a few of the boats.
Yeah, that's it. There's a saying that we have: a closed mouth gathers no feet.
Yeah.
From there, we go to Toowoomba, which is a beautiful lake, plenty of timber, deeper water, an entirely different fishery from Kinchin. And you've got to make that adaptation overnight. Like one night's Kinchin, the next night's Toowoomba, and it's nearly like a whole different set of lures, whole different set of techniques.
Yeah, the Toowoomba was good. Toowoomba was good to me last year. It was I think I got a third there last year.
Yep.
But, yeah, it was compared to the year before where we donutted. So
yeah. Well, you weren't alone there, mate. And again, when Toowoomba fire, like we'll hit Toowoomba when it fires one night, and it's going to be off the charts, the results.
Oh, and it's a beautiful dam. It's beautiful, that place. So.
Then, of course, the one everyone looks forward to, of course, are the two events that we have at Peter Faust Dam. Camp Kanga's back open now. Yep. That is the ultimate of everyone staying together, having a couple of lemonades in the afternoon, catching plenty of meat of fish. And it always decides the team of the year. It's like the team that does best at Faust is the team that normally takes that AOY title or the team of the year title, mate. And I want you to run through, if you're going to do the Barra Tour and you're going to end up at Faust, what Zerek baits do we need to make sure we're going to put stuff on the scoreboard there?
At Faust?
At Faust.
Well, you can't go past the 7-inch flat shad.
Yeah.
You know, like 7-inch, 9-inch flat shad, rigged up on a jig head. This one's got the worm hook in it. A lot of guys are using it with the worm hook because they get to wind it across the top of the weed and that.
Yeah.
But I rig them up on a jig head style, and put a stinger in the bottom of them. Mate, you can't go to Faust without the white 7-inch flat shad. It's caught just as many barra up there as anything else. And also, the second one of choice, if they were the two lures that I had to fish, it'd be the Fat Betty Fish Trap 110.
Yeah. How many of those things do you sell every year? They seem to be the staple of Zerek the Tour.
That particular colour, in the 95 mil one, it is ridiculous. It's thousands. So,
thousands of that lure.
Yeah, yep. Like at any one time, if we're doing orders, we would order 1,000 of Fat Betty.
Wow, of just that one colour.
That one colour.
Yeah. So it's awesome, mate.
I don't know what it is. It just catches everything. It catches flathead, dew. The guys that are using them up on the reef, like catching coral trout and things like that, they I don't know what it is. The colour, the UV in it, it just seems to catch fish. It catches fishermen, which is good. So, but it does catch fish. So,
yep.
I mean, if I go to like that at Kinchin Dam, that's usually what I tie on straight away. So,
yep. And you leave it on all night, don't you? Daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter.
Mate, I've got about 10 rods, so I've got a lure on every one of them. So I just rotate through them.
Yeah. Mate, it's a real testament to Zerek, the fact you've sponsored the tour. The guys use the baits. They often win big barra and win tournaments on the bait. Yep. So I think it's a really good synergy that, you get there, you're accessible to the people, and then the stuff you learn on the Barra Tour, that becomes integral in your R&D for future baits, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, and even after last year, I was playing around with some experimental lures and come back and, hopefully come Barra Tour time, we might have some of the production models of some new lures that we've been working on. So hopefully it'll be a bit of a release for them.
Well, there you go, mate. There's everyone that's watching this show. You've heard it here first. Troy's letting the cats out of the bag. There might be some cool news, Zerek, for you at the Barra Tour, mate. Thank you to Wilsons. Thank you to Venom. Thank you to Zerek for sponsoring us, mate. Thanks for joining us on ABT Lockdown Live. I cannot wait for the Barra Tour to start.
Cool. Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much.